Hey everyone, it's your boy ShadowDTV. We're back with another Marvel Snap video. This is going to be part 3 of checking out the data mined cards for Marvel Snap. So we're going to be taking a look at the future cards that are coming to the game. Of course, these are subject to change before they are released. We're going to check them out, give my rating and review of the cards. So let's get straight into it because we still got plenty of cards to get through. It might be even a part 4, possibly a part 5. We'll see how we go. So let's check out the first one. We've got here Maria Hill. So 2 cost, 3 power card. Really cool artwork there. Really like the fire in the background. That's really sick. So on reveal, add a random 1 cost card to your hand. Interesting design. It's kind of like we've got a lot of cards that add random cards to your hand, but this is specifically a 1 cost card. I guess there's synergies there with like Kazar and stuff, but it seems like I don't know, it seems a little bit lackluster. I mean, it's a random 1 cost card, so it's not drawing a card from your deck, so you can't choose what the card is either. So I think it's a pretty average card. Probably give it a 2 out of 5. I'm sure there'll be a synergy that pops up that changes that, but yeah, 2 out of 5 for Maria Hill. Now this is a very interesting card, Mephisto. 6 cost, 0 power, which is, you go, well, what good is that? The ability is absolutely insane. Of course, that artwork is freaking insane. Check that out. That's probably some of the coolest artwork I've seen so far in Marvel Snap. But this ability, if you win this game, double your winnings. What? It's such an interesting mechanic. So the card isn't actually contributing anything to your board state, but if you win, you're doubling your winnings. I can't even think where I'd play this card, what type of deck I'd play this card in. I guess maybe you could do you play Mephisto and then your Dracula takes your Apocalypse. It seems kind of hard to pull off, but that'd be pretty insane to get like 16 cubes for a win. I'd be really interested to see where this card is going to be played, if played at all. I mean, it's a bit gimmicky unless you can get some power into Mephisto. I guess. Ooh, you could definitely play this in a Mr. Negative deck. My brain just clicked into gear there. Wow, this would really, really buff Mr. Negative decks. Assuming Mr. Negative doesn't get nerfed before then. Whoa, thinking of just that synergy, that's pretty insane. I think just because of the uniqueness of the mechanic, I'm probably going to give this a 4 out of 5. Yes, it's only going to work in specific decks and situations, but I mean, it's pretty cool. I think just playing it because it's going to... Can I give it a 4 out of 5? I'm giving it a 4 out of 5. I think just it's a tough one. 4 out of 5. I'm just saying 4 out of 5 just because it's friggin' cool. I actually think it'll be usable. Put it that way. All right, we're going to check out. So now we've got Mirage, 4 cost, 5 power. As you play this, disguise it as Mr. Fantastic. After the final turn, reveal it. That's super, super interesting. Now, it's a very interesting ability. We haven't really had... Probably the closest thing I can think of is Mysterio, like trying to psych out your opponent of where the card is. But this being played as Mr. Fantastic just seems really strange. I think the problem with that card is going to be if it's turn 4 or 5 and all you playing is a Mr. Fantastic, it could raise alarm bells that it might be Mirage. And I think also in the future, Mr. Fantastic might fall out of favor as a good card. So it probably might not get played. It probably doesn't get played that much right now anyway. So I think seeing that, it will just possibly give away that it's a Mirage. And to be honest, 4 cost for 5 power doesn't seem that great anyway. And I guess disguising it as Mr. Fantastic means it's going to be buffing other locations and you're going to lose that buff after the final turn. I don't think it's a very good card. I'm going to give it a 1 out of 5. Next up, we've got Nebula. So it's a 1 cost card, 1 power. Artwork's really, really cool. It's pretty sick. I actually like the colors in that. It's actually really, really cool. On reveal, if your opponent played a card here this turn, times 2 power and put this in your hand. So it's interesting. It's kind of like I guess it goes with the rest of the Guardians of the Galaxy abilities that things happen to the card when your opponent plays a card there. So I guess this could fit into that style deck. It's kind of like a Deadpool sort of card, but instead of destroying the card, it relies on your opponent playing cards there. I guess if you can predict where your opponent's going to play things, you could get this to a decent power. I mean, turn 1, turn 2, it goes to 2, turn 3, it goes to 4. Sorry. You play it turn 1, it goes to 2, turn 2, it goes to 4, 8, 16. I mean, you could essentially get this to really big numbers, but it's really going to depend on how easy it is to, I guess, interpret what your opponent's going to do. I'd say it's like the card's fine. I'd probably give it more, let's say maybe a 3 out of 5, but I can see it being a 4 if it ends up being easy to, I guess, get those buffs. I think it really depends. I'm going with a 3 out of 5. Next up, we've got Negasonic Teenage Warhead. Really, really cool artwork again. I love that a lot of these cards are like action shots, which are really, really cool. They're in the thick of it. They're using their abilities. Let's check out this card. So 3 cost, 2 power. When any card is played here, destroy this card and that card. Okay. It's kind of cool. We have cards that destroy your opponent's cards, but I don't think we have anything like this. I think the issue is when you play it, you're kind of telling your opponent if you play cards here, they get destroyed. I'm just trying to think when any card is played here. So I'm just trying to think, if you play this and your opponent plays a card in the same turn, if you reveal first, would that trigger the effect? I guess it wouldn't, because it's just being revealed. It hasn't actually been played. So my interpretation is that you play Negasonic, and then your opponent's next turn, anything played there would be destroyed. I guess it can kind of... yeah, it's an interesting one. I guess if your opponent has like a rock in their hand, they could just play that, destroy the rock and destroy Negasonic. I don't think it's that great being a 3 cost. I feel like if it was maybe like a 2 cost, it might be a bit better. Probably going to give this a 2 out of 5. I can't really think of any synergies or like super powerful plays with it. There could be, to be honest. There could be some interesting interactions. But yeah, we're going to go with a 2 out of 5. Next up, we have Orca. That is really sick artwork. Again, full action shot in the thick of it. It's a 6 cost card with 9 power, which is very, very good. And its ability is ongoing +5 power if this is your only card here. So it's kind of like a Namor, but I guess that makes sense to be honest, that it's a similar effect. But it's +5 power, so you can get this to 14 if you don't play any other cards there. But it is your 6 cost card. I actually don't mind this card. I think a 6 cost 14 power card. It's like a Giganto, but it probably has a little bit more versatility, I guess. I actually really like this card, to be honest. I reckon it's possibly... There's only going to be specific decks you can play it, but I reckon it's probably like a solid... probably a 3.5. I'm going to say 4, just to round it up a bit. I think it could be a pretty powerful card, to be honest. So that's Orca, yeah. Next up, we've got Red Guardian. 3 cost cards, 6 power. Also an action shot here. Not as impactful as some of the other card artwork, but it is quite cool. I really like the font of the text. On reveal, you must play a card here next turn. So you're getting quite a powerful card, a 6 power card for only 3 cost. But I guess it is telling your opponent what you're going to do next, where your cards are going to go. It's an interesting one. I think its ability doesn't really do a whole lot for you. If you were going to play cards there anywhere, then I guess it doesn't matter. You get a pretty decently strong card. But I can't really see what type of deck this would fit in. Probably going to give Red Guardian a 2 out of 5. It's pretty simple ability. You don't really have to look into that one too much. So yeah, 2 out of 5 there. Next up, we have the Sentry. This is a 4 cost card with 10 power, which is very strong. But on reveal, add the Void, a 7 power card, to your opponent's side of this location. Now, this is interesting because I guess your main goal with this card is going to be to play it when your opponent's filled their location. So, it's very circumstantial when you're going to be able to play this. It is a very cheap card. 4 cost card for 10 power could be really, really good. So I guess you're trying to play this in scenarios where your opponent fills a location. I can see this being pretty good. It really just depends on, I guess, the meta at the time, what decks people are playing. But a 10 power card, potentially a 10 power card for 4 cost with no downside is pretty amazing. Obviously, if you do end up with that downside, it's pretty detrimental and probably not super good in that sense. But I think there's definitely scenarios where you can play this and just get straight 10 power card with no downside. So I'm going to give this a, let's go with a 3.5 out of 5. It's probably not a 4 just because of that downside, but I can definitely see it being very, very powerful. Artwork, again, pretty cool as well with that frame break artwork. All right. We've got Shadow King. That artwork is amazing. 6 cost card, 4 power, quite low the power. What is the ability? On reveal, destroy all other cards that have 2 or less power. Now, this is kind of like a... So, Killmonger is killing your all the 1 cost cards. This is killing everything with 2 or less power. Now, there's lots of ways that cards can get have their power lowered. I think of something like Scorpion, like playing a Scorpion. Even if you could play like a Wong double Scorpion's ability, and make the cards that your opponent's playing be quite low power. Especially if they're playing like a swarm deck, not a swarm deck, but like a zoo type deck with lots of 1 cost cards that are going to have low power generally. I could see this being okay. I think it being such low power makes it a pretty bad turn 6 drop. I wouldn't really want to be playing this turn 6. There's plenty of other cards I'd probably prefer to play. And it's really going to depend on what your opponent's playing to actually have the ability matter. So I'd probably give Shadow King like a 2.5 out of 5. I kind of want to make it a 3, but I can also see it being quite a bad card. So we'll give it a 2. We'll give it a 2.5 out of 5, I think, Shadow King. All right, guys, that is, we've actually got so many more cards to get through, but I think we'll leave it there for this video. I don't want these videos to be way too long. You'll lose interest if you're just going through card after card after card. I want you to really sink in these. You want these cards to sink in. We know that most of these cards, if not all, will be coming out in future releases of Marvel Snap. Again, there might be little differences in their cost and power, and their abilities might be changed. But I think the way they are now, they look pretty. Most of these cards seem pretty balanced. Nothing stands out to me as super broken. Although I will admit, which card was it that I looked at? That Mephisto could be pretty insane in a Mr. Negative deck. But I guess it doesn't actually impact the turns, that game specifically that much, but it could help you rank up pretty quickly, I reckon. But other than that, yeah, I'm really enjoying checking out these cards. I hope you guys are enjoying these data mined videos as well. If you are, let me know down in the comments that you're enjoying them. Let me know what you think about the cards. Yeah, give me your ratings on some of the cards if you like as well. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I guess I'll catch you in the next one. See you guys.